Autoimmune. You're attacking yourself. Or so they're telling you. What's going on, Secoya Nation? Dr. Schilling bringing you today's Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wisdom. Not Wednesday. It's Monday. Okay, so today we're talking about autoimmunity. And so I'm going to share a quick story with you about someone I know pretty well. She's no longer with us, but that's my mom. And that is she was diagnosed with MS at age 24. She was symptomatic at 22. She had me at 28. Somewhere in there as far as the dates go, at best of our recollection. So she was dealing with a lot of stuff before I was ever born, and that led to some interesting interaction between the two of us and our relationship after that. So before we get too far into that, let's talk about this is the kind of stuff we're sharing in our newsletter. This is the kind of stuff we're sharing on different medium platforms, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, check out our newsletter so we can get our email list and you can get all the information. You can stay in the know. We send out like great information, great deals. I mean, Anissa handles all that stuff, but this is an opportunity for you to get in the know and get all the inside scoop on this stuff. So my mom's story was she slowly deteriorated over years, right? And her health declined as her mental health declined. Now, some people say, in order for your health, you have a healthy mind, you have to have a healthy body. Some people might say in order to have a healthy body, you have to have a healthy mind. I would argue that the greatest predictor of your health is the quality of your mind. And if you have an illness or disease that you've been labeled with, it's usually because of some type of breakdown in terms of your mental function. So let's make a connection between autoimmunity, because really what it is self-evaluating conflict. Okay, so when you self-evaluate, when you think less of yourself, when you talk negatively to yourself, when you say, "This is why I can never catch a break," or "bad things always happen to me," and stuff like that. It's really about understanding like your self-talk, your negative thinking is what's going to turn into that disease. It could be, we talked last week about juvenile idiopathic arthritis. You can talk about lupus. You can talk about MS. You can talk about Hashimoto's thyroiditis. You can talk about any. There's hundreds, probably hundreds. I don't know if there's hundreds. There's hundreds of autoimmune issues. I'm a firm believer, from what I've seen in my own body and in the participants we work with, is that the body makes no mistakes. It's not about your body attacking yourself, because that's what the thread is. Like, autoimmunity is supposedly my body's attacking itself and there's nothing I can do about it, and you just have to try to manage the rest of your life, like whether it's your thyroid or your bones or your joints, whatever it is. So when you understand that it has nothing to do with your body attacking yourself, it has everything to do with how you think negatively about yourself, and your brain is wired to look for reaffirmation or further affirmation that you are, in fact, broken. Let's just leave it at that, broken. So you're feeling, I'm no good because of this, that, or the other. I inherited some type of belief from my family, whatever it might be. So my mom, every time I'd ask her, like, "Hey, how you doing, Mom?" she'd be like, "Well, steady as she goes. I'm still here." These are things I would hear. Like, she was literally like taking it up one side and down the other as far as whatever life threw her, she would just sit there and take. And so she had no fight in her. She didn't, and this isn't a criticism, this is just an observation, so hear me loud and clear. I'm not judging her for not stepping up for herself or standing up. She grew up in a family that was completely absent in terms of emotion, for the most part. They didn't communicate how they felt. Feelings were not a common issue. I mean, my grandmother, who passed when I was about 12, she had MS, okay? My mom had MS, and then my aunt, my mom's sister, has MS. So you can see how technically it's thought to be a genealogy. It's like an inherited thing. MS is an inherited thing. Well, forget the fact that it has anything to do with low vitamin D and low sunlight exposure and a general neurological threat of self-evaluation. So if you have a conflict regarding not recognizing yourself, that's self-evaluating. So lack of self-recognition. It could be that you have a belief system that you learn by watching your parents, your grandparents, and stuff like that. That can also be learned. It can be related to the conditions of life. My love for myself or my love from other people, it might be conditional. And therefore that says that my lovability or my worth as a human being is determined by the outside world. I live, if I succeed in this area, on condition that I fulfill some type of obligation. So it's a conditional life. Self-evaluating conflicts like autoimmune issues are conditional. Like, I will be worthy of love when this happens. Okay, so I'm trying to give you a perspective of how you understand someone who's struggling with autoimmunity, because it's not something they're consciously thinking about. You got to get into the subconscious recesses of their mind and understand how their triggers and how their patterns are. So oftentimes someone with a self-dividing conflict, they say, I carry the guilt of this so someone else doesn't have to. That's a pretty common one for any autoimmune condition. So whether it's powerlessness with the thyroid, whether it's, the defectiveness off the joints, whether it's MS, which is just, I can't get up, I have a fear of not getting up, I have a fear of not having the strength to do it. Autoimmunity typically affects the whole body. That's why they say you're stuck with it the rest of your life, because if it doesn't affect one organ, it's going to affect another tissue, and it just tends to migrate. But basically it's a self-destruction. And whether it's a real self-destruction through your behavior or it's a symbolic destruction based on your lifestyle choices that you just slowly degrade over time, whatever that might be. So just trying to give you some perspective of how a person's mind will affect their body, and their body will break down as a result of that self-devaluing conflict. If you or someone else you know needs help with autoimmunity, first of all, help them understand that they have to let go of the diagnosis. If they accept that there's nothing they can do and they're going to be stuck with the rest of their life, then they're SOL, if you know what that means, SOL. Out of luck, if you will. Christina liked that one. So we have the tools to help a person think differently about themselves, to interact with their world differently, to show up differently in their life so that they stop getting kicked around by autoimmunity or self-dividing conflicts. Because if you're just accepting self-dividing conflicts, you're screwed. For lack of a better explanation, because it's only a matter of time before your body breaks down, because your brain and your body have a connection, and as soon as your brain and body become disconnected, that's when tissue starts breaking down. So I hope this has been beneficial for you to understand. I want to encourage you to share this with your friends and family, because I can guarantee you, just like one in two people in their lifetime now will get cancer, will develop cancer, and again, we'll talk about cancer another day. Don't let it think that it's not a death sentence, okay? I don't know, it's 1 in 3 people are going to get autoimmunity. It's wild, the statistics. So you know someone or many people that are currently suffering or will be suffering with autoimmunity. Let go of the self-dividing conflict, ditch the diagnosis, get help to understand how you are showing up and how your life is being affected by your thought processes and your belief systems and your negative patterns and all this other crap that's holding you back. Because there are tools you can use, and things you can do every day to overcome this and any other limiting belief, all right? Because what you think about, you bring about. Okay, if you've never heard that before, it's true. What you think about in your brain shows up in your body. Your body is your self-conscious. Your body is your subconscious brain. It shows up everywhere. Heard a quote recently that says, "God forgives, but the body never forgets." Okay, there's a book called "Body Keeps the Score." So just tap into this stuff. It's where the power lies. It's where your power lies. It's where you can overcome anything in your life by understanding there's information behind the diagnosis, and then you get to then attack it on your terms with the support of other people. Okay? So I hope it's been beneficial. We encourage you to share it and like it, and whatever you're going to do with it. If you want to comment below about your thoughts, your experiences with autoimmunity, and who you think would benefit from this, tag them in here. There are people that are suffering unnecessarily. I've witnessed it my entire life, and now I'm obsessed with helping people stop unnecessary suffering. So we appreciate your support in doing that, helping people help themselves. If you're the one, give us a call, let us know how we can help. All right, guys? So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.